Good evening, everybody. I'm Mark Anoff with The Mix at WRPB-ITV. And I have a very special guest this evening. He came down from Longwood, Florida, Mr. Rick Dalrymple. Rick, good evening.
Good to see you, Mark.
Rick is in risk management, and we're going to learn a lot about Rick together at the same time. So tell me a little bit more about what you do and how you got involved in doing it.
I've been in risk management for 30 years, but I've been teaching a class in the last 4 years called Keys for Profitability in the New Economy. And the success that we were getting from that, I had people say, you ought to write a book. Never gave it much thought, but went ahead and did so, and came out with a book called Accidents Waiting to Happen.
Which we have right here.
Yeah, I'm proud to say I actually became an Amazon bestseller in the first 2 weeks of distribution. And the neat thing that's been happening is that we're seeing some clients have success with the system that we created as a team. It's called a PX4 process, and we take people through a very quick assessment, and it's working. We had a client that effectively added about $13 million in sales to their top line simply by going through the process that we teach.
What size company really is best suited for the course?
Actually, companies of all sizes have benefited from this process, but I would say people who have a number of employees, whether it's 50, 2,000, 5,000, can benefit from the systems that we teach. The reason being, if you've got employees, they're generally going to have claims, and those who have claims, we can help.
And how does it relate from claims to sales?
Let me put it in this perspective. Just had a company 2 months ago, had seen our process, had us involved. We put together checklists and a customized program for them, but they decided to wait. They were more interested in selling than they were putting some operational risk management policies and procedures in place. Just 2 months ago, they went ahead and had brought on 20 new people. And one of those 20 employees has already gone out and had a serious workers' comp claim and now has seen an attorney. And what's frustrating for them is when they did the homework after the fact, they learned that this employee has actually done this many times to other employers where they've gone out, got an attorney, had a workers' comp claim. And based on their profit margin, they're going to now have to sell, I think it was like $1.5 million in extra work just to pay for that claim. So now they're a dyed-in-the-wool fan and are willing to jump on with the program.
Now, are your clients geographically in the same area, or will you go nationwide?
We have clients nationwide that do what we do. We're teaching CEOs our process, and it's working for them.
And you've mentioned a team, so that it's not just you. There are more individuals that are involved behind the process of what you teach and help these businesses learn?
I was one of the main authors of a process called RiskScore, and then we have a team of folks that we've used to kind of help grow this baby into what it is today. Very easily, it's a very quick assessment process that takes less than 10 minutes to do. And it enables companies to find out really where their strengths are.
Correct.
And where their blind spots are as a company. And that's the biggest thing we teach to is that I think there was a #1 New York best-selling book called Execution by Larry Bossidy and Ram Charan. And they make the comment in their book that most business leaders today fool themselves into thinking that their businesses are well run.
Right.
And we tell folks that if you reduce your business risk as a company, but more importantly, know your blind spots and do something about them, you can and will increase your profitability as a company.
It's great that you mentioned that, because that just sort of sent it to me, the blind spot. Because as business owners, we tend not to look at our blind spot. That is just that, because we have none. We just think that we're that good. And we may be, but we always have that blind spot. And I haven't heard that mentioned by hardly anybody in the longest time, but that is so true. That is where the greatest risk is, because if you don't look at yourself in the mirror,
yes,
what do you really know? So a company such as yours really is needed to take a look, not at what we do good, but what we're missing. And that's really great to hear about. you've mentioned attorneys, usually with workers' compensation. Do you work with attorneys?
Yes, actually, we put on programs together with attorneys. People like to understand the legal side of how things impact their business. But yes, we put forums together where we teach the operational risk side of things, and we help people understand the legal ramifications of what they do. The neat part about what we're learning as we do this, and it's become very fun, is that our RiskScore process only entails about a 10-minute questionnaire, so it takes very little time for a company to do. And when we first did it, we were having the CEOs and the CFOs and HR directors get involved with the process. As it evolved, we realized it was actually better if we had more people involved in this process as a company. And we liken it almost to football. We tell people the left tackle needs to know what the right tackle's doing in an offensive play. And when you get everyone to know what to do if and when there's a claim, or even to know what to do before you have a claim, it's magical. And I found myself in meetings with 8 to 10 of key leaders of a company, and when you had the CEO saying, "Are we doing this?" and they say, "No, we're not." "Well, HR make this happen." And HR will ask the foreman or job foreman, "Are we doing this?" "Well, let's make this happen." So you get everyone on the same page, and everyone does things together as a team, and that's great. And we're seeing one case in point. We had a client that was averaging over $300,000 in losses over a 3-year period of time. I said averaging. And in 1 year, they turned things around where their losses were under $28,000.
Oh, that's great.
And that was the company I was referring to that, based on their profit margin, which was about 5%, it had the impact of adding about $13 million to their sales.
That is really good. And it's amazing because we like I said, we don't look for the blind spot. We don't look for our weaknesses, but we should every once in a while, because there might come that employee that has that history, or there might be certain situations that can economically really affect the company that they're not even looking at.
Very true. What
is the best way for that business owner, for that attorney, for that workman's compensation firm to contact you, to add you as a tool to their toolbox?
Well, there's a couple ways people can reach out to us. I have a website called whatsmyriskscore.com, just as it's pronounced, it's spelled whatsmyriskscore.com. Can be reached at 407-256-9861. But I also am on the web and on LinkedIn. My website is richarddalrymple.com, so have a number of places that people can reach out to us.
And on LinkedIn, what's the best way to get to you?
Well, if you look up Rick Dalrymple, I'm there. If you were to Google my name in Google, you'd find plenty of material. I've written articles through the years, and again, the book has gotten some notoriety, which we're very proud of, and where we help, we try to.
Great. And where can they buy the book?
It's actually available in multiple different formats. It's on Amazon, Barnes & Noble. We actually even had a 5 CD set made of it because people said they like to turn their cars into universities. So, but it's actually an MP3, so they can download just the audio. So it's a number of different formats.
Fantastic. And again, let's give out that main website for people to contact you or find you.
Whatsmyriskscore.com.
Whatsmyriskscore.com. Mm-hmm. Fantastic. Rick, I want to thank you very much for coming down, and I'd love to possibly see you again and talk more in depth about some of the things that you do. Again, it's been Rick Dalrymple here with Mark Anoff at The Mix on WRPB-ITV, and we'll be back in a few moments.